Tonight, reduced to rubble.
I actually thought it might have been an earthquake, and my entire house shook.
One person in critical condition after a house explosion in South London. Plus, don't even think about it.
The response has been overwhelming. It has been shared almost 1,000 times.
Pushback in Strathroy Caradoc at the possibility of a data center. And comedy at the Grand.
Every night is a wild and weird and wacky night.
Details on the new series launching this season.
CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with a house explosion this afternoon rocking a South London neighborhood. Emergency responders say one person was taken to hospital in critical condition as investigators work on figuring out what sparked the blast. For more on this, we're joined live by Daryl Newcomb from Baseline Road. Daryl, what's the latest?
Well, Carlyle, neighbors tell me they watched in utter disbelief as the roof of 131 Baseline West was blown high into the sky. As you can see behind me, only the rear wall of the house remains standing. London firefighters searching through the debris after a vacant house at 131 Baseline Road West exploded just after 1 o'clock Wednesday afternoon. Neighbor Ryan Mason watched the blast from across the street.
Split second. It just up in the air, and by the time I came down, there's still rubble falling. Right after it happened, a guy crawled out of the rubble, and he came out from like out of the corner and went to the parking lot. But he seemed, shaken up, obviously. He went through a house explosion.
The fire department confirms one person was transported to hospital in critical condition, but are unsure if the individual was inside or outside the house when it exploded.
We have a significant debris field here around this area, and it's been cordoned off. There's the only exposed building that has been significantly damaged is the garage that's located behind the home.
Just standing in my kitchen, and I just heard an explosion. I actually thought it might have been an earthquake, and my entire house shook.
Because of the force of the blast, firefighters actually extended their search for potential casualties into the surrounding field. The vacant house and adjacent lot had prompted numerous complaints from neighbors, and a sign on the property indicates it was the subject of a planning application to permit an apartment building.
Don't know if it may have been abandoned recently, but there has been a lot of homeless camping out nearby.
This is a vacant building that is inspected on a monthly basis by fire crews, and the cause of this fire is currently under investigation. We will be contacting the Ontario Fire Marshal.
The fire department confirmed that Enbridge attended the scene to turn off the gas line following the explosion. Currently, the investigation into the cause of the fire is in the hands of the fire department as well as the Ontario Fire Marshal. But London police are not ruling out a criminal investigation.
We are going to work with Chief Bridge and his people to determine whose investigation it is. At this point, it's so new that I couldn't answer that, whether it's going to be ours or theirs.
Now, wood and glass debris, some of it as large as this, was blown right to where I'm standing across the street. But the fire department has determined that this area is now safe, and the Ontario Fire Marshal is on scene investigating. Carlyle.
All right, Daryl Newcomb live for us tonight at Baseline Road. Daryl, thanks very much. Fire crews from Bruce and Huron County say they've been fighting a fire at a dairy farm for hours. They say it started this morning around 8:30 near Teeswater. Crews say there were 2 buildings involved holding hay and straw, bringing in reinforcements from as far away as Walkerton for extra water. No injuries have been reported, but authorities say they expect it will likely take all night to fully extinguish. Public pushback has been swift in Strathroy Caradoc at the possibility of a data center. No such project has actually been proposed, but as Jerry Dewan reports, a recent zoning decision could allow for one, something many residents say they do not want.
A zoning amendment application for this property in Strathroy Caradoc could open the door just a crack for a possible data center, but residents are moving quick to slam that door shut. Nicole Miller launched a petition late Tuesday afternoon opposing the change.
The response has been overwhelming. It has been shared almost 1,000 times. We have, since I last checked, 1,000 signatures, and it only started yesterday at about 4 p.m.
Miller says there are too many unknowns to allow the application to go ahead.
We do not have enough information. And again, we're not saying we're opposed to AI. yesterday. We just need more information before we allow something like this in our community.
A public participation meeting will take place on Tuesday evening at Strathroy-Caradoc City Hall, but concerned citizens aren't waiting for that meeting.
My phone is blowing up from this.
Mayor Colin Grantham says he will hear all sides at Tuesday's meeting, but he's already making his position clear.
I'm against the data center. We're not unique. You see every municipality, I think across Canada, is being asked to put in a data center. There seems to be a movement.
Grantham points out the data center is just one of over a half a dozen use options that are identified in this zoning application. Grantham says, like other zoning applications, the danger is in setting a precedent.
We see this with housing, right? I mean, if you open the door to, a 15-story apartment building here in town, that doesn't stop someone else from asking for a 15-story. So even though this one could be small, could be, not problematic, you don't want to open the door.
Grantham says concerns about the impacts on electricity costs or water use that have dogged U.S. data center projects wouldn't necessarily apply here. And like Miller, he's not ruling out data centers entirely, but is looking for the provincial and federal governments to give clearer direction on where or how data centers should be constructed.
We really do need, some guidelines put in place.
No decisions will be made at Tuesday's meeting, but Grantham is still expecting a large turnout. The plan is to rotate small groups of people into and out of council chambers so everyone's voice can be heard. In Strathroy-Caradoc, Jerry DeWan, CTV News.
Good evening. It was a spectacular day. So much sunshine, high pressure in control, but that northerly breeze keeping things nice and fresh through the afternoon, and the gusts continuing. As we head through the late evening, the winds will really start to ease off. Temperatures near the shoreline of Lake Huron on the cooler side, 20 to 23 degrees, but as we move into London, 26 and 26 degrees towards Chatham-Kent. Next couple of hours, the winds out of the north, as I mentioned, start to ease off. Our area of high pressure will slowly be drifting eastward, and we have clear conditions on the way for tonight. You can see that cloud cover in eastern Ontario as low pressure winds its way up the eastern seaboard. So beautiful conditions through the late evening. The temperature is going to cool right off tonight. A great night to open up the windows. I'll have your local weather details with a look at your holiday weekend weather coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Julie. London police have released a photo of a man they say has been accused of sexual assault, stating there may be more victims. According to police, 29-year-old Mandela Asuth assaulted or sexually assaulted 3 women near Southdale Road and Millbank Drive on June 8th. They say in each instance, the women had children with them. Investigators are asking anyone with useful information to contact them. A summer internship at Western University is giving young people a chance to work alongside scientists while exploring potential careers. As Rita Ismail reports, it's a chance at hands-on experience that isn't always easy to come by.
For these high school students, summer break is being spent inside the lab.
It's been going really well. I've been learning a lot, and I've been getting familiarized with campus, and I feel like it'll be really helpful for when I actually come to Western.
Through the Enrich program at Children's Health Research Institute, students are getting first-hand experience in child health research, working alongside scientists and mentors while exploring careers in medicine and biotechnology.
One of the most valuable commodities for junior scientists or scientists in training is having choices. And choices are predicated on opportunities. And it was identified to us that there's a lot of curious, capable students in the Thames Valley School Board who just don't have those opportunities. Opportunities for skill development, opportunities for professional development, and opportunities for career mentorship. And that's why this program is so valuable.
The internship is designed to remove barriers for students who may not otherwise have access to research opportunities, offering mentorship, professional development, and hands-on training.
Exposure to a real research facility. It built my confidence and gave me a clear direction on where I wanted to go, and it definitely influenced my decision to go into biotechnology.
To be mentoring someone, to get that experience of teaching and guiding someone along the way, but what's more rewarding for me is watching the student grow and learn, and just watching them be really interested and excited about the work.
Organizers hope giving students early exposure to research will inspire the next generation of scientists whose discoveries could one day improve the lives of children and families across Canada. Rita Ismail, CTV News.
A local construction company has announced a donation for the Ronald McDonald House, which has been impacted by ongoing roadwork on Wellington.
If you can inspire people to get excited about construction, especially like along Wellington Road, like we're going to be fully supportive of that all day long.
Officials with JR Construction say they'll commit at least $150,000 for Ronald McDonald House. They also say 2 of their employees have co-authored a children's book with proceeds supporting the charity. They say the book is about the large machines and construction activity happening along London's southern gateway, right in front of Children's Hospital.
My family was impacted, obviously, by the Ronald McDonald House quite a bit when my sister was very sick. And in years after, my mom and dad were able to volunteer and give back to an organization that gave so much to my family. And then I'm just really grateful that years later I can contribute. So
they're going to learn about our partnership with Ronald McDonald House and what it is an excavator does or a dump truck.
A Goderich golfer with cerebral palsy has hit 3 holes in one. He's only 20 years old, and his talents have earned him a spot at the All Abilities Canadian Championships. With more, here's Scott Miller.
Dixon Shoemaker started playing golf at a very young age.
I was 4 years old.
Shoemaker, who is now 20, is a really good golfer. Add in the fact that he has cerebral palsy and is hearing impaired, and his incredibly consistent play is even more impressive. So impressive, his boss at Godrich's Sunset Golf Course suggested he apply to the Canadian All Abilities Golf Championship happening next week in Ottawa. It's a Golf Canada event for golfers with physical, sensory, or intellectual limitations.
He's been here for 6 years. He's our hardest working guy here. He's always smiling, and he's a phenomenal golfer too, right?
How good is Shoemaker? He's made 3 holes in one. The first one at the tender age of 6.
Oh yeah, very excited because this is my first time going there to compete in the tournament. So
Lorendo says Dixon is an inspiration. He's not the longest hitter of the golf ball, but his cerebral palsy and hearing impairment have little to no effect on his ability to hit a golf ball true and straight 9 out of 10 times.
And it's a big thank you to his father too, right? Because his father has been the one that's been taking him out there all the time, 4 times a week, sometimes probably even more, right?
Shoemaker says he wants to win the tournament to thank his many supporters at Sunset who helped to raise money for his trip and stay in Ottawa.
Hopefully win something to win back.
The Canadian All Abilities Golf Championship is from August 4th to 7th in Ottawa. In Godrich, Scott Miller, CTV News.
The Grand Theatre is launching a new comedy series starting this fall. 3 different shows will take the stage throughout the upcoming season. With more on the first of those acts, here's Nick Paparella.
If you want to feel more relaxed than you've ever felt before in your entire life, if you want to have a great time tonight, if you're 18 years of age or older, come up on stage right now.
Hip-Prov is hailed as a comedy show like no other. It stars Colin Mockery from Whose Line Is It Anyway?, hypnotist Asad Mekki, and audience members.
It's an unholy alliance between hypnosis and improv, 2 misunderstood art forms through the ages. So Asad Mekki, a renowned hypnotist, asks for 20 volunteers. People rush the stage. He hypnotizes them, gets them down to the best 4 or 5, and then they and I form an instant improv troupe and do an improv show.
Who wouldn't want to get up on stage with the great Colin Mockery from Whose Line Is It Anyway? I mean, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Both Colin and Asad say audience members are the real stars of the show.
20% of the population are really good hypnotic subjects for a stage hypnosis show. So I start off with 20, and then as I'm hypnotizing them, I'm screening them, I'm looking for physiological feedback. So I'm looking for changes in rate location of respiration. So breathing changes, skin color changes, skin tonus changes. So I'm looking for a checklist. If I see those trance indicators, I'll keep them on stage. If I don't, I'll ask them to leave the stage area. Every night is a wild and weird and wacky night. We don't use plants. We've never met any of these volunteers before. What you see is what you get.
Every time I throw something out, Assad throws something out, they immediately react, like pure improvisers. There's no thinking, there's no hesitation, there's no So a lot of times, the things that come out of their mouths are things that I go, 1,000 improvisers, trained improvisers, would never have come up with that particular thing.
Hip-Prov hits the Grand for one night on November 8th. Tickets for that show and the complete comedy series are on sale now.
I think it's amazing to see what you can do when you get out of your own way. These people become amazing improvisers because they're not stopping themselves from doing what they can do.
Loudly and clearly into the microphone, the incorrect sound effect for whatever he suggests.
I fell down on the ground. Nick Paparella, CTV News.
When we come back, leaning into leverage. Could Canadian officials use energy to apply pressure on U.S. trade talks? Plus, the rising cost of data breaches. Details on the industries impacted the most.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We begin tonight with Ontario's latest.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVLondon.ca, your home for news.
Welcome back. The U.S. president is insisting his country would be better off without a North American trade agreement, prompting one Canadian premier to raise the idea of using energy as leverage. With more on how those potential bargaining chips might play, here's Abigail Beeman.
New Brunswick supplies nearly half of Maine's electricity. The premier says she may use her province's power in negotiations if it would stave off new tariffs.
Have to be very strategic about how we use the leverage that we have. But I think one of my colleagues around the table used the quote, you need to walk softly and carry a big stick.
Ontario tried that last year and backed down within 24 hours.
We had a problem with Ontario and they dropped that.
The idea raised too by federal Conservatives at an emergency meeting to discuss another thorny topic, the Gordie Howe Bridge.
Canada has leverage. We have energy. We have critical minerals. We have steel, aluminum, autos, manufacturing. American factories depend on Canadian supply chains. American workers depend on this relationship too. So let's use it.
The Prime Minister said Canada has lots of options and the focus is working towards a deal.
So when you're supplier of a key commodity, key service, you got to think really hard about not supplying. I don't see the value of doing. I mean, I can understand conceptually, but I don't see the value of it.
Mark Carney also asked what Canada is getting in return for concessions, including the Gordie Howe Bridge. And in this court filing, news the government is going to drop the base contribution requirement for American streaming services to pay for Canadian content. The government will pay up instead. Carney said it's about affordability.
Most Canadians have one or two or so of these streamers, and it's real money. This stuff adds up, and there's a better way to do it. We took the judgment there was a better way to do it.
This is nothing short of changing political direction based on the broader context of the trade war.
On the question of concessions, the Prime Minister focused on the fact the Gordie Howe Bridge is now open. He said Canada is in a strong position and working on a more stable relationship with the United States, but he didn't directly answer the question. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Premier Doug Ford says he may rethink his support for a proposed high-speed rail project, taking issue with the federal government intervening in his efforts to expand Toronto's Billy Bishop Airport. With the latest on this simmering dispute, here's Judy Trin.
The plan for high-speed rail to connect Quebec City to Toronto is already dividing rural and urban residents. The Prime Minister may have been counting on the Ontario Premier to stand by him, but there's a crack in support.
If Prime Minister Carney and his team want to, this is how they're going to treat bigger projects, I don't think you'll get much built. 11
of Doug Ford's Conservative MPPs are publicly voicing opposition to ALTO, saying too many questions remain unanswered, too many voices have been ignored. The criticism comes after Mark Carney's government grounded plans to expand Toronto's downtown Billy Bishop Airport to accommodate 10 million travelers a year.
We won!
During public consultations, the majority of the 87,000 responses were against building bigger runways for bigger jets. The provincial transport minister says the feds caved.
If you listen to the special interest groups, nothing will ever be built in this province.
The Ford government is refusing to give back expropriated land to the City of Toronto.
They have reiterated that they intend to continue pursuing that goal, regardless of what the federal government announced recently.
While promoting railways, a federal cabinet minister reminded his provincial counterpart that fighting this battle risks taking the focus away from the war.
Canadians want us to roll up our sleeves and work together as we face trade challenges, as we face a number of international pressures on Canada, so we can keep people working.
This is not what the Liberal government wants. Opinion polls show that there is only about 40% support for the Alto high-speed train project. It's a project that could cost $90 billion to build, maybe more. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
New data is shedding light on the economic impact from increasingly frequent and complex cyber attacks in Canada. With more on the sectors hit hardest, here's Scott Hurst.
As technology continues to have a bigger impact in our daily lives and nearly everything these days seems to be interconnected, it can come at a cost. The average cost of a data breach in Canada has reached a record $7.11 million. The attacks are becoming larger and longer lasting, and the energy sector reported the highest average cost per breach. According to new numbers from tech giant IBM, the average breach is exposing roughly 28,500 records. That's up 8% from last year, and it took more than 200 days on average to detect and contain the impact. With so many services now interconnected, the fallout can be far and wide, all the way down to disruptions felt by us, the consumer. Energy organizations reported the highest average costs at more than $9.2 million per incident. It highlights the growing financial impact these cyber attacks can have on critical infrastructure. AI also playing a major role. It is both helping and hurting. Organizations that deployed AI in their security operations reported the cost of an average breach to be much lower and contain the impacts significantly faster. However, globally, there's been a more than 50% increase in AI-driven attacks, showing just how quickly attackers are adopting the latest technologies. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
On the desk now with Julie Atchison on what has been a gorgeous day here in London. Lots of sunshine.
Yeah, it's perfect. I mean, it doesn't get much better than this. That breeze out of the north, a bit of a clip at times through the day today and a bit breezy out there this evening, but the winds will be easing off temporarily overnight, and the temperature is going to cool right down. A great night to open up the windows. It's going to be cool, and temperatures are dropping down between about 12 and 13 degrees under clear conditions. Our sunset this evening coming in at 8:49. Temperature is a bit cooler areas to the north. That wind coming off Lake Huron is keeping some gusty conditions near that lakeshore. 20 degrees near Goderich and 23 in Wyerton. Eastern Ontario has been dealing with some very heavy rainfall associated with that upper trough, and you can see it continuing to bring rain in Eastern Ontario and parts of southern Quebec, and that's the weather story for them over the next 12 to 24 hours. We need that trough to slowly start to give way. We're under the influence of high pressure. That means clear conditions and beautiful weather. So that's with us for tomorrow. Another banner day expected across southern Ontario. As we head across the country tonight, we do have some active weather in through parts of the southern prairies. There has been severe thunderstorms moving through southern Manitoba, and widespread heat warnings continue on the periphery of this upper ridge across the southern prairies. Temperatures from 27 to 31. As we head towards Thunder Bay, 29 widespread heat warnings in northwestern Ontario. We're watch and warning free areas to the south, and as we head to the Maritimes, it's quite warm now in through Montreal and stretching towards Halifax with temperatures in the mid-20s. Overnight, comfortable 11 to 12 degrees if you're near Lake Erie tonight, about 16, and 15 degrees near Lake Huron. Heading into tomorrow, that northerly wind continuing, so the winds will pick up. So the pressure gradient, what happens is we're in between high and low pressure. So the area flows from high pressure to low pressure that's on the east coast, and that creates this cool flow of air coming downwind, so that northerly wind. That'll be with us tomorrow. As the high pressure area starts to crest over us, the winds will ease off. So we'll see a brief pickup in the wind, likely around noon hour. So wind gusts 20 to 40 kilometers per hour. So still some rough marine conditions out on Lake Huron. But by Friday, conditions start to calm down. We're into a mix of sun and cloud as the area of high pressure starts to drift east of us, and then we pick up the return flow. The winds come in out of the south. Temperature for tomorrow afternoon, 24 degrees, 27 as we head into the late afternoon. Beautiful sunshine, and then another cool night on the way. 23 still near the shoreline of Lake Huron, but Mount Forest, Wyerton, you'll be at 26 degrees under full sunshine through Thursday afternoon. Friday, increasing amounts of cloud cover, a mix of sun and cloud. Now, I've been talking about this holiday weekend. There's still the chance for showers, and we're bringing up the probability a bit earlier in the day. So initially yesterday, the rain was holding off until Saturday night. There is a 40% chance of rain now during the day Saturday. And then Sunday, a mix of sun and cloud with a 40% chance of showers. I don't think this is going to wash out your weekend. The latest forecast model is actually showing most of the rain coming in on Saturday and then tapering off. As we head into Monday, sunshine, Tuesday, sunshine, and here comes the heat, 29 to 30 degrees next week. We are anticipating temperatures spiking, so we're going to see some warmth return, or some heat rather, temperature-wise, and humidity will be moving back in. Midwestern Ontario, enjoy your sun tomorrow, mix on Friday with a chance of showers both Saturday and Sunday. Temperatures looking pretty good this weekend. Some cooler overnight lows as well before the heat arrives as we head into next week. So Carlyle, a beautiful day on the way tomorrow. The weekend a little iffy at this point, but it looks like the main rain will arrive as we push through your Saturday.
All right, Julie, thanks very much. Still ahead, reaching across the border, Ontario and Michigan politicians coming together in times of trade trouble.
This is not a trick question. What do sharks and helicopters have in common?
Sounds like a trick question.
We'll tell you tomorrow morning at 7:35.
WestJet flight attendants could be on the picket line as soon as Sunday. Roughly 4,400 flight attendants will soon be in a legal strike position. Their key sticking point has been compensation for work done on the ground, the same issue which led to a work stoppage at Air Canada last summer. Airline officials say flyers with trips scheduled between tomorrow and next Tuesday can change or cancel at no charge. Ontario and Michigan lawmakers met in Windsor today discussing their longtime economic partnerships and the current pressures imposed by the ongoing trade war. With more on their priorities, here's Travis Fortnum.
Canada and the United States coming together Wednesday, even as the relationship between the two countries remains somewhat stressed.
I will tell you that Michigan needs Ontario and Ontario needs Michigan. We're like I said, we're very closely tied together. There's a reason that we needed a second bridge.
Michigan Democratic State Rep Mike McFall crossed the brand new Gordie Howe International Bridge to meet with Ontario Liberal MPPs and union representatives in Windsor. The closed-door meeting at Unifor Local 444, also including fellow Michigan lawmaker Amos O'Neill, held as an old alliance faces new strain.
While yes, it has been strained on the national level, I think locally we are still the connection's still very strong.
Ajax MPP Rob Serjanik, the Ontario Liberals economic development and innovation critic, says that local connection matters when the national conversation can change by the day.
I think we have to understand that we need to have conversations at all levels, whether it's privately, whether it's publicly as well, because at the end of the day, both of our economies are very intertwined.
The conversation focusing on trade, tariffs, Great Lakes management, and economic development, and what each could mean for workers, businesses, and communities on both sides of the border.
Frank and honest conversations about what's happening and really how important it is that we continue to trade freely and openly with the United States.
No policy was set and no tariffs were toppled, but with a new bridge now binding the two sides even closer, the politicians say keeping those conversations moving is critical.
Travis Fortnum, CTV News.
Public backlash this week against the billionaire CEO of Shopify, one of Canada's richest companies. Toby Tutke responded to a post on social media, calling a post proposing Canadians receiving more votes based on how much income tax they pay a good system. The proposal suggested up to 5 votes for people paying more than $500,000 in annual income tax.
What we're seeing is an attitude that has long been held by the wealthy. I mean, they have acted as lobbyists to, get their taxes lowered, to weaken the kind of protections that exist, say, for workers or, healthcare things. They've always done that behind the scenes.
CTV News has reached out to Shopify for comment, but has not received a response. Stock markets across Canada and the U.S. fell today as oil prices rose. In Toronto, the TSX lost 416 points. In New York, the Dow plunged more than 1,100. The Nasdaq dropped 434. The Canadian dollar gained 1/10 cent today. On commodity markets, gold lost $1.60 an ounce. Oil added $5.20 a barrel. Later on CTV News, baseball diplomacy, the attempts at rebuilding a relationship as the Blue Jays visit D.C.
It's Jeff, KP, and Backstage Ben in the morning.
3 awesome people that want to start your day or finish your overnight shift.
You'll laugh, you'll text, you'll call, you'll scratch your head, and maybe even beat Backstage Ben. Weekday mornings from 5:30 to 10.
Listen live on the iHeartRadio app or at 97.5 Virgin Radio.
Wildfire officials in British Columbia say the situation is intensifying near the community of Clinton. Fires have forced a community-wide evacuation. There are now concerns over severe storms in the forecast with a yellow thunderstorm alert in effect. Much of the province is also still dealing with smoke-related air quality issues. Here in Ontario, the latest provincial update states 11 new wildland fires were confirmed in the northwestern region yesterday. That brought the total number to 122, with 35 located in the northeast, and no new fires confirmed there yesterday. New polling in Alberta suggests a majority of people want to remain in Canada, with the largest support for staying found in Calgary and Edmonton. Roughly 80% of respondents in both those cities said they will definitely or probably vote to remain part of Canada in October's referendum. Researchers surveyed 2,000 people, which was commissioned by a third-party advertiser called Vote to Stay. 2 people in Quebec made a surprising find recently using a magnet. They dangled the device into waterways, fishing for metallic objects under the surface. As Genevieve Beauchemin reports, after this discovery, the police needed to get involved.
A search for sunken treasures in this river led 2 Montrealers to a worrisome find that triggered a police investigation. Frédéric Hardy and Julie Tessier are magnet anglers, a hobby they love. And last Tuesday, they pulled up a partly 3D printed handgun.
It looked like a printed handgun because everything was plastic for the handle.
This is a rare find in Quebec, and it was made a stone's throw from one of Montreal's most notorious prisons, Bordeaux. Now, the anglers flagged the gun to police, and officers had, well, a lot of questions.
They can do still background on it. They can do anything except for finding fingerprints, anything, because it's been in the water for too long. And it was jammed too. There was no bullets, at least.
3D printed guns are growing concern in Canada. Seizures of these largely untraceable handguns shot up in 2022.
As soon as you reach the height you want to live it, let it go.
Now, magnet fishing is growing in popularity worldwide, with powerful magnets and heavy-duty ropes pulling up anything from coins to scrap metal. And that helps clean up rivers and lakes of the metal debris. The 2 Montreal anglers, Tessier and Hardy, have a popular YouTube channel to show off their finds. They've made fascinating discoveries before, including knives, other weapons, and old artifacts.
We got what we call a little railroad spike. This one is pretty deteriorated, probably 80 years old.
And they'll continue to fish around for submerged riches and for other treasures lurking below the surface. Genevieve Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
A new art gallery has opened up in Nova Scotia, celebrating one of that province's most renowned painters. With more on the hometown exhibit, here's Paul Hollingsworth.
When this art gallery first opened in June, the operators made a splash with their first exhibit.
We knew we wanted to start with a big one.
These Maud Lewis paintings are on display until September. It's the second biggest showcase of Lewis's folk art. Many of these paintings represent her early work, using bright colors to capture winter scenes, farm animals, and flowers. There are also many of Lewis's postcards, which she sold door to door for 5 cents each.
They're smaller, they're more detailed, they're more personal.
These paintings depict Lewis's perspective of life in southwestern Nova Scotia in the mid-20th century.
It represents artistically the nature of the community.
The gallery is already a major tourism draw, attracting people from across Canada and around the world.
It's honest. That's what I'm really thinking. Like what you see is what you get.
Lewis, who died in 1970, lived in poverty and with rheumatoid arthritis. She only gained recognition for her art later in life. Today, many of her paintings are worth tens of thousands of dollars.
Every one of her paintings brings joy to everyone. Everybody smiles. They speak to all audiences, young and old.
These 74 pieces of art offer a celebration of the life and legacy of Maud Lewis and her importance to this community. Lewis was born in the Yarmouth area and later moved to a tiny house in Marshalltown, Nova Scotia.
That's why the exhibit is called Maud Comes Home. Maud's Coming Home.
A fitting location to celebrate the world-famous paintings of Maud Lewis. Paul Hollingsworth, CTV News, Yarmouth, Nova Scotia.
Thank you to Gord and Shelley Rose from Woodstock for this photograph. Skies will be clear tonight with sunshine on the way Thursday. We do have the risk for rain over the weekend. The probability Saturday into Sunday about 40%. As we head into next week, temperatures are set to climb into the upper 20s, low 30s, and it'll start to feel like the mid 30s.
American military officials say they, along with Saudi forces, fired on Iranian-backed militias in Iraq today. Iraqi officials are condemning the strikes, calling them a violation of their sovereignty, with at least 20 militia fighters killed. The strikes were retaliatory for drone attacks on Saudi oil targets, the first major U.S. military action in the Middle East since Friday. Meanwhile, Iranian leaders say they fired missiles at U.S. bases in Jordan. Jordanian officials say they intercepted 5 of them. Oil prices also rose this morning amid potential escalation disrupting energy shipments. More than 220,000 people have had to flee their homes in southwest France because of a massive wildfire. The fire is burning west of Bordeaux, scorching an area 4 times the size of Paris. Crews are trying to contain the flames, anticipating more hot temperatures and strong winds. 24 towns and villages have been evacuated, with most evacuees staying in temporary shelters. Local authorities say it's the country's largest evacuation effort since the Second World War. Japanese rescue crews are searching through rubble after a powerful and deadly earthquake. At least 18 people have been reported dead, including 3 people at a mall that collapsed. Police body camera footage shows the devastation inside. Officials are investigating a possible gas explosion triggered by the earthquake as a potential cause for the structure's collapse. America's former top infectious disease expert, Dr. Anthony Fauci, invoked his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination today, accusing a Republican senator of being obsessed with his prosecution. Fauci appeared before the Senate Homeland Security Committee. The Republican committee chair has repeatedly called for Fauci to be indicted for lying to Congress about the origins of the COVID-19 pandemic. At one point, he had one of Fauci's lawyers removed from the hearing for speaking to the committee. A Southwestern Ontario dragon boat team comprised entirely of breast cancer survivors is preparing for an overseas adventure. They have the chance to compete alongside thousands of other survivors, but as Spencer Turcott reports, they'll need some financial support to help them get there.
Every stroke tells a story of survival.
2, 3.
The Dragon Flyers Dragon Boat team with the Waterloo Paddling Club is made up entirely of breast cancer survivors.
I was diagnosed 6 years ago.
The cancer had spread to 2 out of 6 lymph nodes that had been taken.
My retirement plan quickly became a plan of survival.
Each woman has her own unique experience, but a common desire to help each other through their recovery journeys.
Excellent. If I hadn't found this group to support me, I don't know where I'd be.
I was just blown away and so inspired by seeing women that were 20 years older than me surviving. So I knew that I could survive as well.
The group of powerful women push each other on days they may not believe in themselves. And now they're putting that determination to the ultimate test.
We committed a couple years ago to take a full boat to France.
They'll head to the French Alps for the International Breast Cancer Paddlers Commission Festival at the end of August to race against more than 4,500 breast cancer survivors from 25 countries. But getting there isn't cheap.
It's around $100,000 to get just the core group of 24 to 25 paddlers plus our coach there.
So they've created an online fundraiser to help cover the cost of this rare opportunity, one that has given them something to work toward during some of their darkest moments.
When you're in the boat, no one's poking you, no one's prodding you, no one's scanning you. You don't have time to think about what you've been through or what you have going on next.
It's just unimaginable that at a point where I didn't even know if I was going to survive, now I'm going to be, and all the women along with me are going to be international athletes.
Athletes who have helped one another on their cancer journey, proving that sometimes the strongest way forward is being in the same boat.
That's it, reach it out.
Spencer Turcott, CTV News, Waterloo.
A Canadian nurse is sharing his experience with a traumatic injury, crediting his own medical training with preventing a more dire outcome. Omar Sachedina has more on his hiking mishap that could have been much worse.
A couple inches the other way and this would be a different story.
David Cifaldi and his friends were climbing the tallest mountain in Montana when all of a sudden,
I just slipped on some rocks. It was just kind of a freak thing. As I rolled over, I noticed one of my trekking poles laying on the ground, and as I kind of set up, I realized that the other one was stuck in my side.
But his friend says David was still conscious.
He was still talking, he was still breathing. There was not a pool of blood.
With the pole still impaled in his body, David made the 16-kilometer trek back down, which took more than 6 hours, as his friends guided him and used a satellite to contact search and rescue, who waited for him to take him to hospital, where the pole was safely removed.
I feel very lucky. I feel very fortunate. Very, very blessed to have good friends, good people that helped me.
Omar Sachedina, CTV News.
London's top stories.
We have breaking news tonight out of Ottawa. The latest in the
breaking news alerts.
I'm tracking an area of severe weather. It'll start.
And watch live.
A developing story now from City Hall where.
Download the CTV News app.
Welcome back. Young Canadian hockey star Macklin Celebrini has signed a record contract. His new deal with the San Jose Sharks will pay him more per season than any other player in NHL history. With more, here's Andrew Johnson.
Macklin Celebrini will make close to $19 million U.S. per season, and he's not the first superstar to hit pay dirt after honing his skills just across the water in North Vancouver. Celebrini has signed a 5-year deal with the San Jose Sharks worth $94 million. That's not the biggest total contract in NHL history, but the highest average value per season at $18.8 million as contracts continue to rise along with the league's salary cap. It comes after Celebrini's breakout sophomore season when he finished 4th in NHL scoring. He was also the leading goal scorer at the Olympics, where Canada won silver. Celebrini grew up in North Vancouver, playing out of the North Shore Winter Club, which also produced another top young talent in Connor Bedard. The two were first overall picks in the NHL draft in back-to-back years. Bedard just signed an extension with the Chicago Blackhawks, paying him $15 million per season. For Celebrini, the future is bright. His 115 points this season with the Sharks are the third most ever by a teenager in the NHL, behind only Sidney Crosby and Wayne Gretzky.
That about says it all. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Vancouver.
Finally tonight, a little bit of diplomacy on the baseball diamond. The Toronto Blue Jays have been in Washington, D.C. this week, taking on the Nationals. As Joy Malbon reports, team officials saw that as an opportunity to embrace the long-standing friendship between our two nations.
In spite of trade tensions, that delayed Gordie Howe Bridge and threats of the 51st state, there is one thing Canadians and Americans can agree on, and that's baseball. Throwing out the first pitch, Canada's new U.S. ambassador thrust into the thick of things. The embassy promoting this cross-border matchup between the Blue Jays and Washington Nationals as a goodwill friendship game.
It's a big week for the Canadian government down here, negotiating with their counterparts. So we sometimes have to look beyond some of the headlines and see that we've been at this together for a long time.
Canada's top trade minister on the field. You could call this baseball diplomacy, a celebration of two nations who share a love of the game.
Relations are a little strained right now between Canada and the U.S., and so we need events like this just to get together on a human, personal level.
Fans scooped up an exclusive Canada-U.S. friendship hat with a nod to the Nationals' Montreal Expos connection, meaningful to fans like the Halperns, keeping the spirit alive.
I think baseball transverses all borders and keeps us all friends, so that's why we're here. I blame a lot of it, honestly, on Trump trying to hold power, but also on a lot of people for completely forgetting how much we both rely on each other as countries. I mean, we're neighbors and we rely on each other for so much.
Neighbors who are having a tough time of it.
Who do you blame?
Trump. The administration. It's just crazy right now. So it's hard to be here in the States right now and dealing with this tension.
Joy Malbon, CTV News, Washington.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For your latest local headlines, you can always head to our website. I'm back tonight with your late news at 11. Bye for now.